Hola Madridistas, welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. If you're new here, as always, smash the like and subscribe to the channel. Without further ado, please welcome our esteemed co-hosts Jacob and Mo. I hope you guys are doing good. I know the feelings about the game is gonna be fucking dreadful. At least it is for me. You know, um, I'll kick things off. Big up everyone in the chat as well. There's a few comments I'll read out in a bit, but yeah, feelings are not great, especially regarding how many chances we created. Usually, it has been a point where we don't create enough chances. We don't, you know, assert dominance enough. We are too passive, but that wasn't the case tonight. That's what makes this even more of a thorn in our hopes for winning. Yeah, winning another league, man. We conceded the top spot to Girona, which is not great. We did the hard job, right? We did the hard yards last week against Barcelona, winning in that fashion was a high that's unparalleled. Which I think might be a case of hangover for the entire side. Um, we just really couldn't put away our chances, man. I'll get into some of the glaring ones, the obvious ones, but um, yeah, for me, 2 points dropped. Yeah, this feels like a loss. I'm not gonna lie. Mo, I'll come to you first. How have you been, bro? It's been a little while having you on. Initial thoughts.
Yeah, man. You ran me off because of the whole picture thing. So now I had to, bribe you and get myself back onto the pod. So thank you. Even if I had to give you some money, but yeah, and honestly, like I told you in the WhatsApp, like jokes aside, this game was like it was dreadful. I was like, I wanted to find out how other people were watching this thing because in the first half it was incredibly boring for me. The second half, yeah, probably Rodrigo comes on, things improve, but whatever. You said that we created a lot of chances. Well, I thought that we created a lot of chances, but they were very poor quality ones.
Yeah, hundred
So,
percent.
so I don't really know how much credit the team deserves it. But when you look at the whole season, when you look for the forest instead of the trees, you're right. Like games like these happen. Sometimes the ball just doesn't want to go in.
Yeah,
Although I don't really think that we even tried to put the ball in, but it is what it is. Girona being top is like, yeah, it's not optimal, but I think they'll probably have a fall off when they start playing the better performing teams of this season. So we'll see how much their form is like real and how much of a challenge they are. But so far, the points they have collected, all teams that have collected that many points this point of the season, they've always finished top three. So we'll see how it goes. Come December, we'll probably have a better idea of them. For us, I think, yeah, this is just one of those performances. You take it in your stride and you move on.
100%. I don't know about the taking it in your stride because Jacob was telling me the same before we actually went live. I just it doesn't just sit right with me because I've seen so many occasions like these where we drop silly points, absolutely fucking silly points, and it ends up costing us a major title, man. I just
I just
don't
like
want
to
that to be the case.
I just like to point this out. Like the last season, it was the same time, like around these same dates, like 5th or 7th November. I think we always play Rayo in the first week of November,
Yeah,
and we lost to them, and I think our season
away,
went,
right?
yeah,
Three
our
two.
season went off to the rails. So I hope this doesn't happen this season, and because we don't really have a World Cup break to fall back on and use it as an excuse. So
100%, 100%.
so let's
There
just
you
see.
go.
Because a lot of people I know from Barcelona, there was this person I was
Yeah.
talking to, they always said that, Ancelotti teams, they always start well, but we'll see how it goes when it comes to the middle of the season. So, we're in the middle of the season, we're right in the thick of it now.
Well, another scary proposition. Ancelotti teams tend to peter out. Towards the midway point of the season. Man, I'm not ready for it. I'm not gonna lie. But Jacob, bro, like, how has been your night, day, in terms of the game? I know it's dreadful, but in general,
It's not that dreadful for me. I enjoyed the football in the first half. In the second half, we created nothing basically. Just a few
Jacob
half
said
chances.
he enjoyed the football. I'm pretty sure he's a fan of SNM now.
he's a fan of what? I didn't get it.
SNM
What's that?
is sadism and masochism.
Oh, okay, okay. S&M. Okay. What was the more obvious abbreviation for it? I
It's
forgot.
SNM, man.
BDSM. It's BDSM.
Man.
It's
Yeah.
BDSM.
Do
So
you understand what SNM stands for in BDSM?
yeah. I do. So it's BDSM, the more commonly used one. But oh my god. Okay, fair. Right. Okay.
No, man.
But that's a very valid point, Mo. Valid point. He's a
Not a
sadist.
masochist, man. Like, I just enjoyed the football. I feel like in midfield, at least we did well. Bellingham was turning it on, and we just didn't create that too much. I feel like the players up front weren't that sharp, and it certainly feels like a loss. It's not just the 2 points lost. Rudiger is going to be missing in the next game. Bellingham, we're not sure what's going to happen to his shoulder. Camavinga seems fine though. So, yeah, a lot of negatives from this game.
Do you guys like realize what Rudiger did towards the end of the game? Like, I had no idea what he was doing there.
Bro, he's just crazy.
Just lost his mind. He was like me because I was losing it. I could relate to it. At least he was.
He just went and started fighting with Leon. I don't
Yeah.
really understand what he was. I don't know. He was whispering, sweet nothings. Maybe saying, Jacob is a fan of SNM.
and the very fact that he Lehun basically stood there and listened it in whole, trying to decode what he was trying to say was fucking hilarious. But I could, to an extent, relate with Rudiger's carnal desires to a certain extent. But fuck me, man. A day like this, a night like this, honestly, it just makes me, wonder what must be going through the players' minds, because they must be absolutely fucking devastated with the result and the way things panned out. But big up everyone in the chat. Like I said, smash the like if you're new here. Also subscribe to the channel. Ashik was wait before I read Ashik's comment. Big up Marcus Winningham. That's a nice name. Marcus is saying, how can we win the league if we cannot beat teams like Rayo at home after all our efforts of winning El Clasico 100%? That's what I said at the beginning of the pod, that putting the league up for grabs again is a detriment to all the good that we did last Saturday.
I would like to say that, when you have a strike force that we have currently, where our number 9 is Marcelo, do we really have hopes of winning the league? I've said this before, and I'll say this again.
Let me ask you this: Joselu, yes.
Let me just finish it, and then you can make your rebuttal. The thing is, like, when you have your Joselu as your 9, like, how can you really expect the quality isn't there, in my opinion, to win the league.
I'll tell you something.
If he hadn't dropped the points, they would already be ahead of us.
Joselu has reassured me quite a lot this season compared to what I felt of him initially. So my expectations have risen at least a bit. Not like risen to like world-class levels where he's going to like bang in 25-30 goals, but at least serviceable performances. And for me, at least he got on the end of chances. But yeah, like you said, quality is an issue.
Man, for me, I don't think winning the league is up to just Joselu, man. I feel like Rodrigo and
100%.
Sooner rather than later, they'll prove that we might win the league or we might just fuck it off and then wait for next season.
I think I like, this is something that I've said like numerous times, right? It's like beating a dead horse by now. I don't think we're putting Vinicius and Rodrigo into positions to succeed. We want them to score a lot of goals, but we're just like playing them positions where they're not comfortable, especially Vinicius. Rodrigo, I can even blame him for a bit because he's getting a lot of chances, not converting them. But Vinicius, man, it's like you've taken what he's best at and asked him not to do that. It's like tying his one leg off and asking him to dribble with one leg.
I could relate to it to a certain extent, right? I can understand the grievance, but to be honest, even in this diamond, he's starting out pretty wide. His starting positions are very wide, where he is supposed to be excelling, and he's actually managing to take man on and beat them. So I don't really grasp the whole sentiment that
I mean, the thing is, like, if it's not about beating the man, if football was all about beating men, Real Madrid would be.
I also mentioned his starting position was out super wide.
The thing is, like, where's the end product? Where are the chances created? Where are the goals?
I feel like what is missing right now is not just Vinicius' position in a vacuum. I feel like it's not an issue because he is taking the same positions that he was last season. He's able to dribble past guys, but then there's nobody to combine with in the center of the park. Joselu is not going to.
That's an issue.
Rodrigo is not doing it for some reason.
Jude can do it, and he
I
has
mean,
done it pretty well. Mm.
Rodrigo is supposed to start at the right side. How like do we really want him to be coming to the left and playing and just leaving the right side completely empty?
I think that's what should happen, like especially with Carvajal so high up the pitch. Valverde can take up that
And
position
I
as
think that's point of it. You know, the fact isn't that it's just Vinicius fault. That's the point, right? When when we're building the tactics, when Ancelotti is building the tactics, he has to instruct players to combine with Vinicius in those half spaces around. You know, what's happening is right now we have three players playing on the left, but they don't really coordinate with each other. In some games, like Sunet said, you know, Bellingham did combine, but today we didn't really see that combination. Even in games prior, we haven't seen that combination. When Rodrigo and Vinicius have been playing together, they play like, you know, even if they are like next to each other, they'll be like they're completely unaware of each other being there and what the other person wants to do. So I think that the way that we are playing and the lack of quality at the nine. You know, when I speak about the lack of quality of nine, I don't really just mean, you know, there's not somebody who can just bang in the calls. It's also about how somebody can link up plays and everything. So last season Benzema was doing all of this. This time around we have like split Benzema's role into two players in Joselu and Bellingham, but neither of them are doing it to the level that we really wanted. Bellingham was supposed to be the one combining, but he's scoring goals like, you know, there's no end. So you can't really blame him. Joselu is a goal scorer, so I can't really blame him. So I think Ancelotti or somebody has to change the tactics a little bit, tweak something, you know, and get Rodrigo and Vinicius flying again.
Jude Bellingham, for tonight's performance, at least we can cut him some slack because me and Jacob we were discussing. You know, his starting position, his average position tonight was so much more deeper than we are used to.
I saw that as well. Like,
Mm.
I completely agree when you say that, you know, we should give him some slack today because I thought that he wasn't making the second runs that he usually makes as well.
Yeah.
So, but for me, the thing is like you have off games. You know, you can't really expect Jude to be like 38 games the same way that he played his first 10 or something. So
Yeah.
I don't really blame him. You know, he's even though he was playing deep, you could see his qualities, his good technique and everything. So I don't really blame him. I think the point of the matter is like Ancelotti has to do better. He has to, you know, because this is not the same attack he used to be before. This is not the BBC. This is not even an attack with Benzema because we know Benzema had incredibly high game IQ. The rest of the players that we have currently don't really have that quality. So Ancelotti has to be more proactive, you know, in setting up the attack and, you know, setting up attacking plans. So far, he hasn't done that. So I really want him to do, you know, improve in that aspect.
100%. Like again, some people like let me put it this way. You know, some of Carlo Ancelotti, you know, pro Carlo guys. You know, I'm not exactly pro
I mean,
Carlo.
I'm a pro Carlo guy, but I can
Yeah.
understand his, you know, weakness.
Yeah. But I'm actually talking about the people that I see on Twitter, on Reddit, who claim that the players at his disposal ain't exactly what Carlo can, you know, completely switch the system around and breathe some impetus into. To which I tell them, well, man, like you can't expect in 2023 with the resources we have, with the transfer market we are you know seeing at this moment in time, to expect to have, you know, Harry Kane, Rafael Leao, and God knows who all together in our front line. It just can't happen. He'll have to just manage to work the magic with what he has at his disposal.
I'll add to this. You know, what you're saying is 100% right. I'll add to this is the fact that we already seen Jude and Vinicius combine together and, you know, create chances, create magic in the left half space. So I think we really need to see more of that. Probably improve the way Vinicius and sometimes when Rodrigo is drifting out to the left, how they combine. So those are areas that I think Ancelotti needs to improve. I think some players are lacking confidence, so probably give them that because I think Rodrigo definitely is lacking a lot of confidence right now. So work on that, and then, you know, the way Joselu is, maybe try and, you know, utilize his strengths more. Get Vinicius, you know, Bellingham to combine more in the left half space areas and get crosses into high scoring chances into Joselu. And I think another aspect of the fact is like I think probably we're going to be touching upon this as well. I didn't really like the fact that he went with Fran Garcia in this game, but yeah, we will talk about it later.
Fran Garcia is a completely different subject that I have no energy for anymore. I've made my stance on
read
him.
your comments on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
I don't really exactly agree with them, but then I have my other reasons. I have my own reasons for why I don't really think he should have gone with Fran this game.
Right. Fair enough. Well, it's just like leave out all the tidbits for me as someone who wants to, you know, wants to see what I like. what France brings to the table, unfortunately doesn't float my boat. I'm actually incredibly sorry for the kid because he is bright. He tries. He puts in 100% every fucking game. So yeah, I've no two qualms about his application because he's trying his level best. There's no doubts about it. Ashik was in the chat. Big up Ashik, he was saying, not the team's best performance. Fede should have taken that gift early in the match. Oh my god. Well, yeah. When I speak about when I spoke about this is basically me retreading on what I predicted right last season. That people claim, oh, Fede is just this finisher that we can expect. Well, there you go, a chance where he had enough time to maybe even take a touch, maybe even take it past the keeper, dribble him over, and toss it into the net. He just didn't have the composure. He just thought, oh, let me just take the easiest route possible. He did that, and David Tereski, he just managed to, scarf it off. Well, there you go. If it was Jude, it's 1-0. Easy. Easiest 101 you could get. A player of Fede's quality, player of Fede's, pace, especially pace, where he can, blitz past people. He just should absolutely bury it. No excuses. That was the most glaring opportunity the entire fucking 90 minutes, right? How big of a miss is that going to be come the end of the season? I don't know, honestly. At this point, I don't know, because results like this just makes me reconsider where we actually stand. Even when we have had things going our way, Atleti having hiccups here and there, Barcelona, casually just switching off in the last 25 to 30 minutes, and us regaining momentum, finishing off the Classic on a high. We are getting so many instances of, where we are benefiting from the rub of the green, but we just can't capitalize on it. I'm incredibly frustrated. We'll touch upon the Fede goal. Since we are on it, I'll ask you, Mo, how much of a blame can we, really put it on Fede? Am I being too harsh?
I think you're being a little bit harsh, but it's fair. I mean, we got a bad result, so probably you're feeling a little bit angry about it. So I understand your feelings, but I think
What is
the
this
fact of the
therapy
matter
or
is,
something?
What was that, Jacob?
Jacob
it
is
just felt
asking
like
if it's
therapy, like I was sitting in therapy, more calming you down.
Right. Okay.
So you have to be a foil. Not everybody can be angry all the time. So
Right.
so for me, the thing is Fede made absolutely the wrong decision. I agree with you. I think he should have gone to his right instead of going to his left. But then I also give credit to Dimitrievski because he guessed where Fede was going to go and he pulled off an incredible save because one-on-ones are incredibly difficult and you have to give credit to the keeper when he pulls them off. Would Jude have done better? I don't know. On current form, you probably it's probably a safe bet that he would probably have done better and scored a goal. But it is what it is. Real Madrid missed a good chance. It isn't the first time that we have missed a good chance. It isn't the last time we're going to miss a good chance. It isn't only Fede who misses good chances. Other players do too. So,
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. I think the blame for Real Madrid has to be the fact that post that chance, we didn't really create any chance that you could say, oh man, this chance should have been in the goal, apart from the Fede one. Probably one that Vini created for Joselu, but then again, another one of Dimitrievski good saves. So, the blame for me is on the whole team. It's not just on Fede.
Yeah. I'm just isolating it to that particular incident because in general, Fede was really good. He has been good for so many games. He puts it in his all. He has to take up so many different roles all throughout the entire 90. He puts in a shift, man. He's irreplaceable. Like Fede, what Fede brings to the table, what Fede adds to this team is so vital to our functioning. Ashika was also saying we weren't really lighting up the world after in the Classico either. It was just moment of brilliance by Jude. I'll agree to it, but still, man, results business. It ain't about always playing the most attractive football. To say the least, because the teams that play the most attractive football, they necessarily doesn't go on to win impressive things.
I think so. The fact of the matter is you don't really have to play attractive football, but you need to have some tactical soundness. I think this current
100%.
setup, this team is lacking a little bit of that, especially in attack. We expected the defense to be the weak spot, but for me, the thing is like we aren't really creating that side of a play style that
which is
we can be reproduced and put our players in the best positions.
basically what Farouk was always banging on about. But then again, I'll ask you this question more, right? We aren't really paid to do this, right? We aren't tactical gurus. None of us are, right? Carlo and his staff, are the people for the job, right? And they've proven it to be the case over the past 2 seasons, to a certain extent. But let me ask you this: if Carlo resorts to a diamond to reduce the impact of missing out on Benzema, and even when in the diamond, right, where we can't really do anything, what else can he do? When he made the switch in the last 20-25 minutes, I believe, to a 4-2-1-3, Jude kind of in the 10, Cruz and Fede, roaming in a pivot, it still didn't look fluid enough.
The thing is, like, when he made that switch, if you remember the game, the number of chances that we created increased. It's not about just the number of chances; it's also about the quality of chances that we're creating. There was one particular instance where I thought that if the players had been positioned properly, we could have gotten a goal. There were a lot of chances that we created. Now, some of that also has to do with the fact that there was an increase in intensity from Real Madrid because it was, getting towards the end of time. But you could see the difference when we were having width in the game, with Rodrigo on one side, Vinicius on one side, and Jose playing through the center. And as you pointed out, Bellingham playing around the half space around the box. So for me, the thing is, like, you said that what should you do? I think the answer is, like, it's right in front of you. I think Ancelotti has to go with a two-man pivot and an attacking midfielder in Jude, and probably flank them with wingers. You don't necessarily have to do a 4-3-3. You could go with a 4-2-3-1 or whatever. But the thing is, like, at the end of the day, these formations don't matter. What matters is the positioning of players. For me, the reason we lost today, like, we didn't lose, we drew. But like Jacob said, it felt like a loss. So for me, the reason we didn't go home with the full points is the fact that we lacked second runners from the midfield. We didn't really have anybody attacking the near post when Jose was attacking the far post, and the lack of numbers in the box cost us, especially when you're playing against a team like Rayo, when you're going to be creating chances.
100%. And Rayo weren't even looking to. Usually, Rayo, like what we associate, at least the recent version, right, the modern version of Rayo, we associate them with high flying, basically sometimes overcommitting players for basically exciting, accelerating football. Rayo came to the Bernabeu with just one objective: leave with a point, or just don't lose. Simple as. And even with that actually being their game plan, we really couldn't take advantage, man. It seats me. But Jacob, like what Mo said, do you agree with it? Because I don't agree with it entirely, because I felt like we created more chances in the first half, whether it be like, I'm not 100% sure whether it's just down to the diamond we were playing, or I'm not sure. But I feel like there ain't much of a difference. What are your thoughts?
I can see where Mo is coming from, because in the first half, I feel like Rayo didn't do that much of a good job shutting out the spaces. We were just pausing them in midfield. But in the second half, as soon as we started, they started on the front foot. We hardly got a show in. We couldn't escape out of the midfield. We couldn't get to the final third as often. Rayo was having the game of his life. Vinicius couldn't get forward. So we needed that change, and I feel like that change really helped us, start to get at least some chances compared to like the first 20 minutes of the second half.
Okay, fair. Well, I just want us to win, man. Honestly, I don't give a fuck about shapes. I don't give a fuck about formations. I don't give a fuck about how we change tactics midway through the game. I just want a game plan that the players can buy into week in, week out, that gives us results. That's it. Like, I'm not high on entertaining shit. I've said this many a times. Me personally, I just want to win.
I mean, still, I agree with you when you say like entertainment isn't like the highest of all priorities. But the thing is, like, when Real Madrid is playing a team like Rayo, you expect some sort of a class. When you're looking at
100%.
Do you really think like this team is like representative of what Real Madrid should be? For me, it's not.
Especially at home as well.
Yeah.
At home as well. I get that sentiment, But when Rayo, like, let's not say they set up as negative as maybe probably,
Listen, I'll tell you this, right?
mm, mm.
Rayo hasn't lost in the league since September, I think, 2nd or something.
7 or 8 games unbeaten, right? Yeah.
Yeah, game unbeaten run.
Mm.
The last time they lost was to Atleti, and Atleti like absolutely smashed them 7-0.
7-0.
So yeah, so right now they are coming to us, and what their record is, while they were unbeaten, they've only won 2 games. The rest of them are draws.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you really know
Yeah.
what sort of a play to expect from Rayo. This is not Iraola's Rayo. This is like a completely different version of Rayo. So I think we have to take that into account, and I think we could have done better.
I completely get the sentiment, man, but I don't know, honestly, because days like this really makes me wish, like I was like you, man, like I was like you, I was like Farouk, where I wanted our team to be, extremely proactive, extremely attractive on the eye.
So the thing is, like, I don't really want our team to be pleasing on there or something. Like, I understand, I completely agree with you when you say the team has to be winning first. But the thing is, like, when you're watching Real Madrid play, there has to be, when you go, oh yeah, this is Real Madrid, it's like one of the best teams in the world. But right now, when I'm watching Real Madrid, I don't really get that feeling. Like today was the first time when I felt like, this game is boring, because I've never said that before. I've never felt like that about Real Madrid. But right now, yeah, when you look at the stat sheet, we get a lot of chances and everything. And this feeling has been with me throughout the season, It's like, yeah, we're creating chances, we're getting some goals here and there. But the fact of the matter, like, this team doesn't play like a Real Madrid team. This team doesn't play like, it's one of the top teams in the world. So for me, yeah, that is an issue that needs to be sorted out.
I think this season that's a script for this season, man. Unfortunately, we're not gonna be tearing any trees down. But I just hope, we just scrape our way towards the major title. That's the only thing I ask.
I've watched the worst Real Madrid teams of all. Like, I have watched them when we were getting constantly knocked out in round of 16s, and we were absolutely shit. So some of those teams even went on to win the league. But the fact of the matter is, like, I don't really look back on those teams and see, that was a brilliant team or something like that. When you look back at the BBC era, you realize, okay, sometimes those teams might not have won the title, but they were still playing football, and those teams are remembered. So for me, like, this team, when I'm watching this Real Madrid, I expected a certain amount of class and technicality, but I don't really see that.
Without a focal point that is on the ilk of Benzema or someone world class, like, we just can't expect. Like, I'm telling you, that's the platform, that's the base for any team, any footballing team to actually, get the scoreboard taken.
You are like accepting it. You're saying you can't really expect it. I understand why we can't accept it, but the thing is, for me, like, we as a club need to do better. It's not just about Ancelotti and the players on the field. It's also about the management and on the position they have put our management team into. I think the whole board has to do better and get him players that that help Real Madrid, that are like Real Madrid quality. And this comes back to the point I said, like, at the start of the podcast. Jose Lu is not the Real Madrid starting quality 9. You need to get better players over there.
Jacob, your thoughts, man, on this?
Yeah, my thoughts are very negative, man. Like for me, I've kind of checked out for the season. Like, if something good happens, so be it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna see the same football. I don't think that we can improve so much given the players that we have. So I'm just taking in my stride. If some good things happen, so be it.
Just give me a second. Can we provide conclusive questions?
You should read
before
I4U's comments.
Go for it. Wait, let me get to it. So yeah, UUI2, I4U, big up you, man. I think he's a City fan. I remember him. Is he a City fan? I'm not sure. He was saying so big Madrid will allow Man City B to win the league. Yeah. That's what I was telling Jacob, that Girona basically is Big Steve's special assignment for us, and they're doing a job, man. Unfortunately, for us.
We'll talk about that when we come to December. They haven't even faced Atleti or Barcelona yet, so.
Yeah. But from what I've seen so far, Girona looks incredibly solid, man.
Yeah, you have to keep in mind they have barely played any teams in the top 10. When they played a team in the top 10 in us, they lost. So I understand they're in pretty good form. Like, I've praised their players. I've said that Miguel is like the one that got away, and Ancelotti really messed that up. But it's like we have to see them do this side of things against the big teams, and then we can talk about them as like genuine contenders. Right now, they're a brilliant team to watch. They have the potential to upset the apple cart and crash the top four. But to
Yeah.
consider them as genuine title contenders, I really need to see them go till December or January to pitch
No,
form.
I'm just basing it on the evidence that have been on display so far. What I saw against Osasuna, away at the El Sadar, not an easy place to go. They had to do it the hard way. They did it in absolute style, man. Like, so, yeah, we have to give some credit at least for what
Yeah, I'm
Girona are
definitely
doing.
giving them credit. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
they're a brilliant team to watch. They have all the potential in the world to finish top four right this season.
yeah,
Before this month, I didn't really think that they could finish. I thought they probably finished fifth and sixth. But right now, what I'm seeing, I've like corrected myself. I think they have the potential to finish top four. I gave you a stat like teams that have reached at this point of the season with the number of wins they always finish top three. So history tells us they probably finished top three. Most of the teams that have reached at this point with 12 wins have actually gone on to win the league. But let's see where Girona are once they have played some of the bigger, like the top 10 teams right now. Because, yeah, they have played Villarreal and Sevilla, but Villarreal and Sevilla have been struggling this season.
yeah,
So we'll see when they face the likes of Barcelona and Atleti. And then we can decide, like, where Girona are in the league. So for
hundred
me,
percent.
to say right now they're like title contenders is like a little bit premature.
Fair enough. He was also mentioning, don't worry, we'll send them reinforcements in January so that they can get the job done. What does Valverde do on the pitch? Long shot and let me ask City fans about their midfielders. Yeah, like if they have their KDBs right and their Rodris. Apart from their brilliant system, can Rodri function in a side like us where it's a bit more loose? I don't
Okay,
think so.
come on, don't go
Yeah,
there,
Rodri
don't go
can
there.
function, man. Like, he's a good player.
Rodri is
I
one of
don't
the
think
best.
so. I don't think so.
Rodri is one of the
I just
best
don't think so.
defensive midfielders.
No, I get it. No, I get the hype. Well, Casemiro was as well.
No, it's
Remember,
not hype, man. When he was at Villarreal, everybody knew he had the potential to reach here.
I completely agree. Even at Atleti,
When,
like he was incredibly
when
promising.
yeah,
But
no.
I'm telling you,
The thing is,
without
like
Pep's system, so many of their players they just go missing. That's
when
been
he was at
the
Villarreal,
case.
everybody thought that he's going to end up at Barcelona as Busquets' successor. So this guy is like a pretty brilliant
So
player.
maybe it's a bad example on Rodri, pinning it on Rodri alone.
Yeah,
I'm just
it's a
speaking
really
in
bad example.
general. In general, without Pep's system, none of City's players are going to be that great.
I
That's
think
just what.
some of them are like incredibly good. You really shouldn't be making those statements.
Well, I make my statements as I like, and that's what
But
I feel.
definitely, and we
Yeah,
live in a free world.
100%. Like I can't come on here and fake what I think, right? But big up Ricardo, man. He was saying can't really blame Carlo anymore. Don't mean to be salty, but the team is actually one step down than the two previous seasons before. Would be surprised if we win anything this season. Well, that's a damning indictment again. I just hope that we don't get to that kind of sensations. I'm not there yet. I'm incredibly disappointed that Ricardo you are there in fucking what November. 2-3 months into the season, it's incredible. But I'm pretty sure you'll get your faith back soon enough. Today wasn't a day that things went our way, but yeah, with a bit more luck, I believe today we could have nicked at least a 1-0 win. But yeah, it wasn't meant
I
to be.
just make an observation. We have been nicking games with a bit of luck so far this season. I think there was a point in time to come where the luck would turn on us, and I think today it did.
Yeah, I can agree. There have been so many results where we had to rely on last ditch winners, but there have been some performances which has lifted spirits a bit. The Napoli game, for instance. But yeah, what else? Santosh I was saying Sack Ancelotti. Big up Santosh. I hope that won't happen. I really
personally go to his house and congratulate him.
so Farooq is right now as we speak, PayPaling Santosh, some money, but yeah, man, I hope that it doesn't come down to that. Yeah, where should we begin with breaking down some of the performances? Well, we have been going on with some negativity.
I thought we had already begun. I didn't realize we still have to begin.
I know. I mean, in the sense, with a bit more depth to it. We have been kind of talking about a lot of negatives. Let's talk about a bit bit of positivity for once, shall we? I thought Kamavinga was sensational in a sixth role. That yes, he has played before. Yes, he has bossed games. Like at the Anfield last year, and in many high profile games, both for France and for us, he has shown that he can do a job. He isn't exactly the Chouameni prototype, Chouameni replacement. 1:1 replacement, but still he is pretty damn good in that position. And the amount of times I felt like he won us the ball and allowed us to break on the counter was really impressive. Jacob, I'll come to you, man. Kamavinga as a six. Is it something that we can bank on for this season?
I feel like if he can bring this performance to like the bigger teams, like we have a winner.
Yeah.
Like he even has like a higher ceiling over Chouameni, because I'm just not talking from the defensive perspective. From attacks, I feel
Right.
like if Chouameni was playing there, he would have probably got the ball slower to like our forwards, or just progressing the ball up the pitch. And Kamavinga, for me, he was like super fast. He got through all of his challenges, did not lose the ball, won the ball so many times, which is amazing. And if he can keep this up for the rest of the time that Chouameni is out, I feel like he can potentially, even replace Chouameni when he needs a rest.
100%. That's the biggest takeaway I have. We really can't rely on one specialist six. We need to have a plan B, and Cruz isn't that plan B. Yes, he can distribute well, but yeah, defensively he's not the best. But Mo, Kamavinga at the six, impressive.
So if you remember, I've always
Yeah.
said this, right? I wanted Kamavinga at the 6 and Chouameni as the 8.
Yeah. I
I've
remember.
always said this. So this
Yeah.
is like my expectation from Kamavinga, because I know his qualities and I think he has the potential to play the deeper areas. And I've always said that Chouameni has the ability to carry the ball and make an impact in the final third. So I really expected his performances, but just to bring a tinge of negativity into your positivity, the thing is,
Fuck off.
the thing is, like, I expected Kamavinga better from Kamavinga when he was like, when we
Right.
were playing out from the back. I think
Right.
if you see most of the modern teams how they play, one of the teams that probably you hate a lot is Tottenham. But under Ange, when they're playing, their defensive midfielder always drops deep to receive the ball from.
Yeah, centre backs go out wide. Yes.
Yeah, centre backs go
Yeah.
wide. Our centre backs go out wide, but our defensive midfielder and Kamavinga did not drop. I didn't really think he was proactive in those.
Chouameni always does it, right? Without.
So the thing is, like, that was one aspect that I didn't really like from Kamavinga, and I thought that led to a lot of players of ours being pressured, because the defensive midfielder wasn't really connecting. He wasn't making triangles in the build-up phases. So a lot of our players, like, I think Fran Garcia's mistake, although you have to blame him for making the wrong decision. Probably a better pass would have been to Kepa, but
Right.
he still tried to pass to Kamavinga, and Kamavinga was like a little bit lazy.
Kamavinga was caught in was a deer in
He
headlights.
got pressured by the Rayo player. So I think those aspects he has to improve. But another thing is, like, you have to keep in, like, okay, we're gonna have the left back discussion at some point in time. So better be right now. I think when Real Madrid are playing with Vinicius and Bellingham, whoever is the left back has to be able to play in close spaces. I think Fran, I have said this before, and I'll say it again, Fran does not have that ability. So when you are having Bellingham and Vinicius, you absolutely should not play Fran, because Fran occupies the same areas as Vinicius. Jacob,
Yeah.
I know that today he was trying to make some lapping runs. Yeah, I agree. He deserves credit for that. But the thing is, like, when it's about getting into close
It's the biggest
support, he's in there. So I think Kamavinga does that, and that is why Kamavinga works as left back for Real Madrid. So for me, going forward, I think a lot in the big games, Kamavinga is going to be playing at the left back. So we really can't expect him to be playing at a 6, and Chouameni has to be fit sooner rather than later. And when it comes to big teams, I wouldn't be surprised if Ancelotti goes with Cruz at 6 and Kamavinga.
No, oh my God, no way. I just hope that's not the case, man. Honestly,
you hope that, or you hope that Mendy comes back to and gets back into.
Yeah, 100%. Mendy, for all his flaws going forward, man, he can combine. He is decent.
He can only combine when he's alongside Benzema, because Benzema is like, he was literally barking instructions. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's for certain. Like I've seen him literally, eating his ears out, during games. But yeah, the one thing that I wanted to interrupt while you were mentioning about Fran, his underlapping runs, right? Like, yeah, he like I said, he tries his best to apply what is needed in a particular sequence. Yeah. But the most telling factor that he isn't comfortable doing it is the very fact that he basically had a semi good chance, and like he was basically 101, kind of 101
I
to
remember that
defend.
chance. I
Yeah,
remember that chance. It was like
yeah.
he was two on
Even
goal, but
then,
then he had to. There was a defender. He had to like go clear of him, so he drifted, took the ball wide, and then he tried to shoot.
yeah.
Yeah,
I felt before he had to go out wide, he should have just taken the shot straight away, try to test the keeper.
I think that's just nitpicking, and
But no, I'm trying to make a point that the reason why he tried to go out wide is basically him just not being comfortable enough to underlap often and see through with it.
Maybe you're right on that aspect.
Yeah.
I couldn't speak to that because it was just one move. You don't really know what he does if he is like he has better confidence. He's a more confident player at this moment. So I don't really know what happens. So I tend not to judge players on like individual actions. I'm trying to like make an assessment of him on his overall play. I've said this before. I think he hesitates a lot. There was something that Alvaro Garcia of Rayo said in the pre-match conference. He said that Fran has to be essentially a bad guy, take charge of the situation. And there's something that I said that before as well. I think Fran needs to be a bad guy and he needs to take charge of the situations, not defer to others. So, but then there's also the fact that Fran's game is all about drifting out wide, creating width, overlapping the players, and crossing from there. But Vinicius right now is he's drifting out wide. He likes to go wide, take his players on, and come inside. So I think with Vinicius a fullback who does that doesn't really work. So that is also potentially some of the worries that I have about signing Alphonso Davies, because I don't know how Alphonso Davies will adapt.
That synergy, yeah, but we'll have to watch, wait and watch. How that'll pan out. 100%.
On the flip side, the fullback I described to you, somebody who can underlap, play in close spaces, put in crosses in tight situations, is Miguel Gutierrez, and Carlo Ancelotti ran him out of Real Madrid. So
we have mentioned that so many times that I feel like, well, it's just beating a dead horse, like you've said on other occasions. Like we just have to let that go. His chance, like I was optimistic, maybe towards the preseason and whatnot, maybe he might have a chance. But the more I see of him, and the more I feel like what the realities of the situation, his chance for a spot with us has unfortunately long gone. Ashi was saying the whole team as a collective had an off day, probably was hungover from celebrating yet another title for the most decorated Madridista, Marcelo. Yeah, man, I was hoping, I was planning it out, we should give a proper congratulatory message to Marcelo before we kick things off. But the way the game ended, man, I just completely lost track. But big up Marcelo. What a massive feat for someone who basically is at the at the end of his career. Like for him to win another big title for Fluminense, who is not exactly top dogs in Brazil, is a massive achievement. And I don't really watch Brazilian football much, but I saw a few familiar faces that I grew up with. People like Ganso. It's insane.
You grew up with Ganso? Are you serious?
In the sense that I've seen and played, especially FIFA career mode. Players like Ganso. Like, why is it funny? I don't get it.
No, the thing is, like, for me, the funny thing was like because Ganso absolutely flopped in Europe.
100%, he did flop, but it's one of those names like Oscar, Ganso. Me as a fan of Brazilian national team, those guys, I could
apologize.
Yeah, like you shouldn't fucking violate me like that, claiming that, Ganso. I didn't never say. I never said Ganso was, creme de la creme or caca.
You grew up with Ganso.
Yeah. While playing career mode, you want to buy some of the prospects in FIFA 12, 13, 11.
That's a very fair point.
Ganso, Pato, Oscar, pretty high potential. High potential players.
I just like to add, the most important thing of this is like Fluminense was Marcelo's boyhood club.
100%.
So he's won his first title with them. So he was incredibly happy. He was saying this title gives me twice the joy. So.
Well, he was just high with emotion. I'm pretty sure. Nothing matches the La Decima. He knows. Ashi was saying.
Real Madrid will forgive me for saying this, but a title with Fluminense gives me double the joy.
It's just high on emotions. High on emotions. We remember his.
Yeah, I agree with you totally,
Yeah,
100%.
we remember his tears during decimum and after the goal. Well, I'll never forget that. It just still makes me tear up seeing him and Casillas embrace. But yeah,
Yeah,
Ashi
I
was
think
also
I
saying
think this speaks to the fact, whenever you win a title, that title is the one that gives you twice the joy. If
hundred
tomorrow
percent.
if you win the Copa del Rey, I think everybody will say this title is something that gives me twice the joy. So totally understandable.
I don't think so, but yeah, not us, not me, not you. Anyway, Ashik was saying we fight Capello despite winning, which means we have expectations from Real Madrid to perform like a jazz band. I completely agree with that, man. But I don't know. I'm just down on my knees. I just want us to win so that I can forget that we played bland football. That's just the reality of the situation. Like when me and Farouk argue, people might think, oh, this guy he doesn't support proactive football. He's more akin and more fondful about maybe Jose's or Simeone's Atleti's side of football. Not a chance. I want my team to play attractive football, but at the same time I want to win. And winning for me, unfortunately or fortunately, is the first priority. Daron was saying when the biggest team in the world doesn't have a world class striker in their team, it says a lot about the obsession of the board. There you go. As far as I can remember, I can see Perez hasn't prepared us for the season good enough. Well, yeah.
There was a statement on Kylian Mbappe yesterday, so
Yeah.
probably.
Wait, did
Why?
any rumors surface for the board to come out and give that communicado?
I'm
I've
not
been a little
sure.
bit busy, so I didn't really pay much attention. But I've heard that there was an article. There was like 3 publications mentioned. There was like L'Equipe and Chiringuito, as always, and there was another one, Spanish one, but I don't really remember the name. So those 3 had put out articles about Real Madrid negotiating with Kylian Mbappe. So I think it was a response to that.
Yeah. Why even? I don't have the
I
energy
think
for
the
this.
fact of the matter is, like, they know PSG is going to try some stupid stuff. Go to FIFA and be like, yeah, Real Madrid were negotiating with them for like, yeah, they were tapping
Mm,
our players and stuff like that. So they don't really want to end up in that situation.
mm. Daron was saying I have been saying for the longest while that I'm not impressed with our squad for the season. Even though we were winning games, the football doesn't look convincing. Yeah, we all knew the football doesn't really entice anybody. But yeah, some occasions it has clicked, it has worked. But yeah, more often than not, it looks like it needs some fine tuning. I too was saying Rodri will work for Real Madrid. He will help you guys to sustain attack rather than
I mean,
going back
I
and
would
forth.
have loved to have Rodri at Real Madrid. Yeah, there was a
Mm,
point in time I really wanted him to join us.
right. Well, that's not going to happen
But
anymore.
I think he's from Atleti, and he's probably going to
Yeah.
end up at Barcelona at some point in time.
Oh yeah, that's a trend. I too was also saying you need to be able to force the team to camp in the half. Then less work to do and more incentives to play, which will help the old players in your team. Well, we try our best to pin the opposition.
No,
Using.
I disagree with this totally. Like,
Mm.
our team, most of the games we are playing in the opponent's half.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I was actually trying to respond to him. That our wing backs, we basically our formation, our diamond is basically enforcing our wing backs to be super proactive and exactly do what you just mentioned in your comment. I too. Ashi was also saying titles are won in April, not in November. Marcus was saying Perez have to save us with a proper striker in January. Even a loan move for the remainder of the
January
season.
does not exist for Real Madrid. January
Yeah,
window is like a
100%.
Bigfoot. It's like Bigfoot,
Yeah.
for Fiorentina. It's like these things are just myths. They don't exist.
Yeah, they are the Bigfoot, or maybe the UFO. The UFO event in GTA 5, if you guys have played, it happens once a year or maybe once in a while. You can spot the UFO, but yeah, it's gone. You have
It's like the
no.
Loch Ness monster. There's
Oh, yeah, I know what the Loch Ness monster is, but yeah, like like sometimes it works. The Adebayor thing, it might work,
I
but
think for Real Madrid, the thing is, like, they don't really think there's quality in the market
market enough for them to, yeah. It's looking peak. I really can't like. Let me ask you this more. Maybe you might know a bit better, but what are the chances Alvaro gets a run in?
No, like, come on, man. Ancelotti. You've been
Yeah,
doing this
yeah.
podcast for 2.5 years. We've
Yeah.
already seen him run out Miguel. I think he's probably going to run out Alvaro as well. So.
I think Modric is gonna start as striker before any of those guys play.
Well, I'm not gonna sit and watch that. I'll be honest. But yeah, who should we touch upon without me basically ruining my mood again? Who
Maybe
else had an okay
let's
game?
let's congratulate the defense, man. Like those guys didn't put a foot wrong.
Oh yeah. But what did Rayo offer really?
Nothing.
Jacob.
Nothing.
What did Rayo really
I'm
offer?
still happy.
Some
I'm
positive
still happy.
So then drink some positive tea, man.
Yeah.
I really can't, man, honestly, because maybe Rudiger had one good clearance. Alaba was okay. His passing was on point, unlike the Clasico. Apart from that, Carvajal was bright. Had some really good combinations down the right. Tried to help the team create some chances. Always had a lookout for his brother-in-law, but the brother-in-law doesn't help himself. Some of the instances, like he just rushes the shot, rushes the decision. It just Joselu. Let's start with Joselu. Joselu. Yes, we know he doesn't have the quality, but like I told you, I have been sort of reassured a bit that he can be serviceable. But
for me, like when the season started, I said the same thing. When the season has gone like almost like 25% or whatever, I'm still saying the same thing. Joselu is a good player if he's just second striker. If he's your main striker, he's not a good player. If he's a bench option, brilliant. But if he's going to be a starter, you have to really like start thinking. Because for me personally, I think Real Madrid should buy him when the season ends. But the thing is, like, if Real Madrid buy him, he should be the second striker. He shouldn't be the first option.
100%. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. I don't want to ask Jacob the same question and tire him out. I'll ask Jacob about Fede. Had a couple of good, nice runs down the right, especially that chance he made for Joselu was brilliant. Knocking the ball past. I don't know who it was, but he tried his best. Was proactive throughout the night. Fede Valverde has basically become undroppable.
Man, I feel like he should have been taken off in the second half early on. Maybe keep on Modric because he was just losing the ball at that point, and I think he got a bit tired as well or lost concentration, whatever it was. But in the first half, he was excellent. He was combining well with Camavinga, Modric, just running all over the pitch, doing Fede things. But yeah, I just wanted to add upon like Joselu as well. I feel like he struggled a bit today because Bellingham wasn't coming and making his usual runs or just combining with him. So he was just working in isolation, and then Vinny wasn't helping him either.
What might have been the thought process? Can you guys help me out, like Jacob and Mo? Like I've actually been talking to Jacob. I was asking him like, why the fuck was Jude's starting position, his average position tweaked for this game? Like, are we giving so much respect for Rayo, or was it a case of Fran starting and maybe like Modric starting that he needs to do a bit more dirty work to help the team out? I don't get it.
I just think, for me personally, like as much of a sacrilege as it might be to say this, but I think it was just Jude having an off game. I don't really think it was much more than that, because usually he's making those second runs, so those runs come from the player themselves. As you know, Ancelotti doesn't really try and influence players in the attack. He gives them total freedom. But then some of these players are incredibly young. Like, I know we tend to forget it, but Jude is still only 20. Vinicius is also, he's not that old chap. And Joselu is probably, he also has a lot of experience.
He's fucking old.
But he doesn't have the quality. So these guys, sometimes I think Ancelotti needs to be more proactive in the attack and, setting up schemes and everything. Farouk would be very happy hearing this. And I really loathe, giving Farouk any happiness. The thing is, like, Farouk is right over here. I think Ancelotti needs to be proactive. And with Jude, I think Jude had an off game. I think the idea with Jude is to always have him combined with Vinicius and Joselu and everything in the left half space, but it just didn't come off today. As as Ashik was saying, it was an off game for the whole thing.
I just read this tweet from Madrid Extra. They were saying, without Jude Bellingham's goals, we would have scored only 14 goals in 15 games. Man, that's just incredible.
Yeah, the commentator was saying as well, like out of that 12 games or 13 games that we played, if Jude hadn't scored, we would not win 7 of those.
Oh God, I've no energy for this. Honestly, can we just wind this up? Big up the chat, big up every single one of you in the chat. Right. I2 was also mentioning you have wingers that can force the other team's fullback to commit a penalty. You can then play Jude, Kamavinga, and Valverde in midfield or mix with the old guard.
I think
Yeah.
what you like this person is saying is like what we have been saying as well.
Mm,
I think Jude Kamavinga and Chouameni is, or Jude Kamavinga, Valverde is the midfield that we need to go with, and
mm.
have Rodrigo and Vinicius, attack out wide, provide the width, and Joselu is Joselu, so being serviceable as you said. So I think that might have been a better way to go about for this game. I think I disagree with Jacob when he said that Modric shouldn't have been taken off. I think Modric should have been taken off. I agree, but I think Modric should have been taken off like 10 minutes before he was actually taken off. I think Rodrigo should have probably gotten a bit more time.
Yeah, Rodrigo came on, had a bit of an impact. Almost scored with the first shot, first touch, basically. Looked right. Looked determined to prove a point, but yeah, things didn't really pan out, did it? What else? Modric, his performance starting.
I mean,
Tonight?
Modric is classy, so you really can't really complain about him. But like I said, on the balance of the game, you probably wanted a different way to go about it.
Mm.
For me, the thing isn't like I wanted Modric job. It was more like I wanted like an extra attacker in there.
Extra attacker, yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
Right. Who else should we touch upon? Vinicius, Jacob. Yeah, had his moments. Looked bright. Unfortunate for the disallowed goal. Joselu was a hair's breadth offside. Yeah, but for me, like I was whinging and whining, before we came on. For me personally, the way he's responding to adversity, it never sits right with me. He has to fucking fix it. I'm not supporting what random commentators speak on, what his attitude should be like. I've been saying about this from day one that he is petty. He needs to stop that. Yeah, if we're losing 3-0, I can understand, tempers flaring and him letting his emotions get to his head, which is understandable. I've been in that situation multiple times in my life. It's relatable. But on a day like this, I don't know why he allows the referees, the opposition players to simply rattle him up. Why? I don't get it.
Man, I don't think this will ever go away. Vinny's always been like that, and it's up to the players to control him a bit. Hopefully, someone says something good to him that he stops doing these things. But for me, he needs to start doing the basics better. When there's an impossible situation, when there's 3 or 4 players around you, you shouldn't just try to hold on to the ball or try to dribble past them. Just release the ball. He keeps losing all of these balls in the last few matches, and it's just getting very annoying. And he just doesn't. He tracked back actually very decently today, which was another positive. Although,
But do you remember? That Carvajal's through ball to Vinny? He didn't even take the effort to actually come back on be onside.
Yep.
There you go. Like why? Why does it take a split second more?
I feel like in that situation, he probably wouldn't have expected the ball, and he was tired trying to recover some energy. But yeah, him losing balls is my main issue. And apart from that, I feel like he isn't totally at his 100% yet. How can a random Romanian footballer, Rayo, I believe his name was, how can he be faster than Vini in that foot race and Vini not win that?
Oh my god, that completely surprised me. I was like, what the fuck is going on? How does he beat Vini for a foot race? Just doesn't make sense.
Random Romanian football. That's the funniest thing ever.
Wait. Count Dracula was from Romania, right?
Vlad Dracula?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah. So there you go. A random descendant of Dracula, winding up Vinny, man. I have no words.
So that is why Ancelotti didn't bring on Goulet today. Huh?
Yeah, probably. Young blood, fresh blood, He just didn't want to.
Dracula, I think he had a lot of fights with the Turks, Ottomans.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. I don't know the history exactly. I just know the sexual themes, but
I think Dracula actually grew up under the Ottomans alongside the Mehmed II. So.
Oh, okay. Well, And there you go. A Real Madrid podcast, but we keep it all inclusive, right? All inclusive.
But
Um,
just fair disclaimer, I get my information from Netflix.
which stupid fucking cheesy TV show do you watch, man?
It
Huh?
wasn't like it was a docu series about
Yeah, I
Mehmet
saw that, but
II.
I didn't retain any of the information.
You've seen that? You've
Yeah,
seen
I've
that?
seen, yeah, the Ottoman Empire. Yeah.
Okay,
You
I've
didn't
only like
read.
seen some of it, not all things.
See how nonchalantly he just finished you right there, Mo. He just very casually said, "I didn't
That's
retain."
Jacob. That's Jacob. You when he speaks, you expect to be careful.
He's so silent. He just mentioned, "I didn't retain any of that information." But yeah, big up, Jacob, man. Um, Brahim Diaz. Why doesn't he get minutes? I need to know. I'm going to
Well,
test.
we talk about
I'm,
Brahim as if it's like Gareth Bale or something.
he's not Gareth Bale, but come on, man. He can actually give a bit of a spark when we need it. Like
Okay,
he
so
has that potential.
what do you think he would have done today? Like, what differently would he have done today?
At least maybe me personally, I was screaming at the TV, take off Hoselu, right? Revert back to the basics. I don't want the 4-3-3
Man, if
going
you
on.
take a striker when you are searching for a goal, especially a striker who is
I know, but really tonight, some days it just doesn't go your way. And
if you take off that striker, what are you going to do in attack when the team is defending?
no, I
like,
completely get your
8
point.
players?
I completely get your point. But bro, football is a game of confidence, right? And when things don't go your way 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fucking times in a single fucking half, maybe just maybe you just need new personnel, a fresh
No,
impetus.
Sunil,
That's what
I
I was
understand that, but
expecting.
you said that we should have taken off Joselu and brought on Brahim, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, like, if you take off a Joselu, you have 8
Mhm.
players defending in the box. What is everybody, even a player who has the qualities of Brahim, going to do when they can't really get inside the box?
Just maybe it's out of desperation, but I
When there
didn't
is
see
no
Hoselu
space.
helping us out.
Man,
Not
the
one
mere
bit,
That's
bro.
because
presence
we
of
didn't get the
Joselu is
ball to
occupying at
Marcelo
least 2
either.
defenders.
Oh yeah, that's also true. That's also true, Jacob. What was that, Mo? I didn't get you.
I said that the mere presence of Joselu is occupying like 2 defenders for you.
Yeah.
If you don't really have that,
Yeah.
it's like open season. We've
But
already
I
seen
was
that happen against Atleti. Without Joselu, we were like a completely different team. We saw that against Barcelona. Without Joselu, how we were playing. So
well, there you go. I was being desperate, man. For me personally, Hosilo didn't have a game that he really, just didn't where stuff didn't really go your way. Like for me, if just it's just that I felt like maybe Brahim and
I
reverting
think
back to the diamond would
I,
have
I think Sunil, the thing
probably.
is, like, I don't really think I'd blame Joselu for how things didn't go his way today, because
Mhm.
whatever the best chances we had, they were falling to Joselu. Like, he had some of the headers that probably went wide. He had that one shot that Vinny created. So
Mm.
we needed a striker. I think taking him off wouldn't have been a good thing. The only way you bring on Brahim is if you take off Jude. I don't really think Ancelotti, with the kind of form Jude is in, is going to even entertain the thought, because Jude, even if the game is in the 98th minute, you can really expect a moment of magic from Jude. For
Mm.
me, it's the same thing that I said about Brahim. Ignore this game, but Brahim has the quality where he is not consistent enough. He doesn't really give you the goals, and yeah, he has some trickery, but you really can't count on him. So for me, I said it at the start of the season. I'm going to say it again. When the end of the season is here, we're going to have an unsettled player in Brahim. We should have sold him if we could have at the start of in the summer. We shouldn't have kept him.
You believe, yeah, apart from Copa del Rey here and there, he won't get many significant
I don't
minutes. Yeah.
really think Ancelotti trusts him at all.
Mm.
And now Ada is back. I don't think he will get the game time that he had. I'll expect Ada to be above him.
Let's speak. I completely understand, the whole thought process, but there's a player there. There's a player within Brahim that can,
No, Sunil,
go.
I agree with you when you say he's an incredibly talented player, but he's not a player for Real Madrid. He's a player for, maybe if he had stayed at Milan, he probably would have been. It would have been much better for him and his career.
Yeah. Nobody's going to deny that. That's a very valid point. Ashik was saying Ganso flopped in Europe because Ganso is a quintessential camp, and Europeans don't play the systems where there
I
is
think
any
he
room for
also
a camp.
flopped in Europe because when he was in South America, he had a lot of injuries. So the best he could do is come to Sevilla. Because I remember at the time when he was at Santos, him and Neymar used to be incredibly high rated.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he had a lot of injuries, and then
Ashi was also saying Real can sign Anwar El Ghazi for half the season for free since Mainz terminated his contract. We're not gonna, get into why they terminated,
but
his contract.
I don't think Real Madrid can sign him, just to be honest, because
Yeah.
he wasn't a free agent when the transfer window closed.
Oh,
Is
right.
that how
Oh,
it
okay.
works? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that. Okay. So the technicality works like that. Fair enough. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it, guys. Any final thoughts, Jacob? Do you have anything to add? Anything that we
Yeah, man. Like I feel like we have to
missed?
keep on the lookout for Jude's injury, see if it's serious. Hope for the best for the Braha game.
Right. Braha, we wouldn't need him, anyway. But I just hope it ain't anything significant, because without him, let's not speak. If I speak, I'm in trouble. But Mo, any final thoughts?
Yeah, for me, I was disappointed, not just because of the result, but because I didn't really get to watch Arda Güler. I completely watched the game
Yeah.
only to watch Arda Güler, but he wasn't there, so yeah, I'm sad. But yeah, this is just one of those games you take it in your stride and you move on. I hope the team comes back, bounces back in the middle of the week. We have a good game at the Champions League. Ancelotti actually said in the pre-match conference that these 3 games are going to set the tone. So
Yeah.
one of the games is already to set
I did hear that.
tone. So
I did hear that. It's mad. It's mad how life works, man. But yeah,
I hope we
Braha,
have better luck in the next 2 games, especially against Valencia, who are
Valencia.
probably going to violate us with their violence. So
Yeah, Valencia has been super bright this season. But yeah, like they haven't really had
I
results
think
going
they
their
got
way.
incredibly lucky today. They got incredibly lucky today when I think, who was the guy who kicked out at Vinny last season? Do you remember his name? I forgot, the Brazilian guy.
The wing
He
back.
used to play for Arsenal.
Oh, Coquelin.
Centre back, man. Coquelin is a defensive mid.
Coquelin plays for Villarreal. My bad.
Gabriel,
Does he
I
play
think.
for- Paulista.
Yeah,
My bad.
I think it was him. He should have been sent off today, but he didn't get a sent off. He had starts up challenge on the opposition player, and they got an incredibly lucky penalty, which shouldn't have been. So and when they come to Madrid, they're going to be on their best behavior.
Who did Valencia play, by the way?
I think it was like one of the lower league teams.
Okay.
So when they come here, you can really expect the best behavior, especially after what happened at Valencia last season. So
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
referees, the Spanish referees, best in the world. You can
Again,
never get better
today's
referees.
refereeing. 3 fouls on Kamavinga. That guy is basically, you know what he was
And
doing?
He gave it to Rayo. He gave it to
just.
Rayo.
He's doing the get up gesture for 2 minutes straight, like a madman. Like what does he think of himself, man? Like I don't get the whole his demeanor, man. Like I don't get it, honestly.
That's what you get with Martinez Munuera. The Spanish referees. I wouldn't be surprised if he's one of those referees in the Negreira scandal who's being paid on the table. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well. That's still something,
And even Barcelona yesterday, how lucky they were. Like
my God,
how should be sent off like so many times.
Bro, Sociedad, hats off. They just showed me, how they can dominate a side for like 70, 60 minutes and do nothing about it. Like it's mad. It's mad, honestly. What's that guy's name?
It's really
The
difficult
coach.
to play with 11 men against 12 men, to be honest. So you have
That's
to
also true.
Sociedad to credit.
That's also true, but still, man, Emmanuel Alguacil or some shit his name is. My God, bro, like he must have really thought about his life extensively, deeply after that. I'm pretty sure he must have been drowning in his tears because the way he looked so fucking dejected at full time. He just wanted to die. I completely could relate with him because the amount of chances Kubo, or Sabal, all those guys had. It's mad, man. It's mad. Barca got lucky, but yeah, we move. Big game against Braha. Hopefully, we can seal qualification. And Saturday, Valencia at home. Another big game. And after that, I think it's the international break. Then we come back and we play Cadiz, and then we have Napoli. So, yeah, make or break time. Basically, we are slowly sneaking into make or break time. December, January is where we would, completely get a more clearer picture of what our season is shaping up to be. I hope, we are in the run for big things this season, man. Honestly. But big up every single one of you in the chat. Big up every single one of you who tunes into us on audio platforms. Um, we have a friendly reminder for people who would be wondering what happened to the Football Content Awards. It's happening on the 16th in Anfield. So any of our listeners, we have our second biggest listener base from the UK. So if you guys wanna catch up with one of us, we'll be in Anfield at the Football Content Awards ceremony. I think the doors open at 6 p.m. The event goes underway at 8 p.m. So if you want to come say hello, get some muck. I wish I could say that. We don't have any muck yet. We have people asking, do you guys have any muck? I'm wondering, like,
if somebody wants to buy it, we can create some merch. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I know. I told them, people have been asking me like, like, why don't you have shirts on sale? I was like, bro, that's an incredibly humbling question to, listen to, because I, never in my wildest dreams I expected,
Jacob,
us to have
I have a
muck.
shirt idea. It will be like, Sunay drinks positive tea.
I don't get the innuendo. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean positive tea?
Positivity, man. Positivity.
Okay, so positive tea,
Yeah,
like
it's wordplay,
in
bro.
t-shirt.
Yeah, bro.
Okay.
Wordplay.
Right. Well, Mo, I would suggest that you use it in foreplay instead, right? Okay, keep it to yourself. But I would, I would allow it for this
Man,
one
come
time.
on, Sunay, man.
So
You
fucking
don't have
bad.
to do that, man. I was being so nice about you, and you're like,
because
You're-
it's so
a wet
shit.
handkerchief, man. You're a wet handkerchief.
What does that mean? What does that even mean, wet handkerchief? But right. Yeah, for people asking about Merc, hopefully we'll do something about it in the near future. I don't know what kind of investment it will require. If it's kind of within our domain, we'll look into it. And yeah, I've seen people do it, and it's pretty easy, I believe. And yeah, like if you can come down to Anfield, you can meet one of us, and yeah, hopefully we get on the podium. That's the objective for this season. Hopefully we get some recognition, get some love for what we have been doing for the past 2.5 years. It has been an absolute blast for sure, but it comes with a lot of sacrifices for each and every one of us. It's not easy. Like I've said many a times, we juggle uni, work, life all together and still make time. So it's not easy. I'll tell you that for once. Pick up every single one of you who sent in feedbacks and whatnot. Pick up every single one of you who has followed us on Spotify. We are less than 50 away from 1K. If you haven't followed already, go smash the follow button.
And
Again.
for Apple Podcasts, consider following. I know Sunil hates Apple, but still, we don't really hate the Apple Podcast listeners.
100%. Google Podcasts as well. We are also on Amazon Music as well. I set it up like two.
Stitcher, if you're just listing names, Stitcher. Yeah, we're on Stitcher as well.
Right. Yeah, on Stitcher as well. Mo, I think, set it up last year. So yeah, we are basically everywhere on as far as audio platforms go. Yeah, go show us some love. Big up Jacob, big up Mo. Thank you for accompanying me in this painful post match. Not that painful, not as painful as the Atleti one, but still hurts.
Not
Shit
as
hurts.
painful as Jacob likes it, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but that I hope that doesn't have a dirty meaning to it.
But... enjoyer, come on.
But yeah. Until next time, people. Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.
Madrid.